In 2008, 9 million Americans lost their jobs, 6 million lost their homes, retirement accounts were cut in half, and almost nobody saw it coming.
Almost nobody?
A handful of outsiders did. A one-eyed hedge fund manager reading documents at 2 a.m., an angry trader who hated Wall Street, 2 kids in a garage. They all found the same thing: proof the entire system was a fraud.
Wait, how did regular people miss this?
Because Wall Street buried it in complexity. Mortgage-backed securities, CDOs, synthetic derivatives, terms designed to confuse. That's why at Simple Storytellers, we make complex business crystal clear.
Today, we're showing you exactly what those outsiders saw, how they profited, and why you need to understand this right now, because it's happening again. Okay, so who are these people? Give us the details.
All right, so the film follows 4 separate groups who all independently discovered the same fraud. First up, that one-eyed hedge fund manager, Michael Burry. Christian Bale plays him. He's this eccentric genius who listens to heavy metal at full volume, and he's managing about $600 million of other people's money through his fund called Scion Capital.
Wait, so when he makes this bet, it's not his personal fortune?
No, it's his investors' retirement savings. That's crucial. Then you've got Baum. Steve Carell plays him, this angry, cynical hedge fund manager at Front Point Partners. He hates Wall Street.
So he's already suspicious of the system.
Exactly. Third group, 2 young investors, Charlie Geller and Jamie Shipley, running a tiny $30 million fund literally out of a garage in Colorado. And they recruit this 4th guy, Ben Rickert.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, a retired banker who's so disgusted with the industry that he quit to grow vegetables in the countryside.
Okay, so these aren't billionaire insiders, they're outsiders.
That's the key. They're contrarians, people willing to look at the data everyone else is ignoring. But before we get into what they found, you need to understand what a mortgage bond actually is. And the movie explains this perfectly. Okay, so here's where the movie does something brilliant. They knew this stuff was complicated, so they literally had celebrities break the 4th wall and explain it directly to the audience.
Wait, like they paused the movie?
Exactly. First up, Margot Robbie, sitting in a bubble bath, drinking champagne, explaining mortgage bonds. Let me show you this clip.
I'm not going to question why she's in a bubble bath.
Just watch.
Basically, Louis Rainieri's mortgage bonds were amazingly profitable for the big banks. They made billions and billions on their 2% fee they got for selling each of these bonds. But then they started running out of mortgages to put in them. After all, there are only so many homes and so many people with good enough jobs to buy them, right? So the banks started filling these bonds with riskier and riskier mortgages. Thank you, Andrew. That way, they can keep that profit machine churning, right? By the way, these risky mortgages are called subprime. So whenever you hear subprime, think shit. Our friend Michael Burry found out that these mortgage bonds that were supposedly 65% AAA were actually just mostly full of shit. So now he's going to short the bonds, which means to bet against. Got it? Okay. Now fuck off.
Okay, that's actually a pretty clear explanation.
Right? Banks bundle thousands of home loans, sell them as one package to investors. The homeowners pay interest, investors get the returns. Simple system.
So what went wrong?
The problem is what was inside those packages. Let me explain. Here's how it's supposed to work. You want to buy a house in, say, 2005. You walk into Wells Fargo.
Big national bank.
Exactly. You ask for a $200,000 loan. They give it to you at around 8% interest over 30 years. Now here's the thing. The bank doesn't want to wait 30 years to get paid back. They want cash now.
To make more loans.
Right. It's a volume game. So they invented mortgage-backed securities, MBS. They bundle your loan with hundreds of others and sell the package to big investors like pension funds or insurance companies. You're paying 8% interest. The bank keeps about 2% as their servicing fee and passes the other 6% to the investors.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins. If the loans are good. But here's where it gets dark. In the early 2000s, banks started giving out what they called subprime loans.
What does subprime mean?
It means loans to people who probably can't pay them back. People with bad credit scores, no savings, no stable job. In a normal world, these people would be denied mortgages. But the banks didn't care anymore because…
Because they were just going to bundle them and sell them anyway.
Exactly. The bank makes the loan, collects the fee, bundles it into an MBS, sells it to Wall Street, and boom, the risk isn't their problem anymore. It's the investor's problem. And it gets worse. They started giving out what they called ninja loans.
Ninja loans? Like the turtles?
No, it stands for no income, no job, no assets. Literally, people who had nothing were getting approved for $500,000 mortgages.
How is that even possible?
The film shows this perfectly. Mark Baum's team goes to Florida during the boom and interviews a stripper at a club. She tells them she owns 5 houses and a condo.
How?
The mortgage broker just made up her income on the application. She told them she made like $40,000 a year dancing. The broker put down $120,000. Nobody checked. Nobody verified. They just wanted to make the loan so they could bundle it and sell it.
That's fraud.
That's the entire system.
Okay, so banks are giving loans to people who can't pay. But wait, didn't investors notice the bonds were full of garbage?
That's the million-dollar question. And this is where CDOs come in, collateralized debt obligations. The movie brings in another celebrity to explain this one, Anthony Bourdain.
The chef?
Yeah, and he uses a perfect analogy. Let me play this clip.
Okay, I'm a chef on a Sunday afternoon, setting the menu at a big restaurant. I ordered my fish on Friday, which is the mortgage bond that Michael Burry shorted. But some of the fresh fish doesn't sell. I don't know why. Maybe it just came out halibut has the intelligence of a dolphin. So what am I going to do? Throw all this unsold fish, which is the BBB level of the bond, in the garbage and take the loss? No way. Being the crafty and morally onerous chef that I am, whatever crappy levels of the bond I don't sell, I throw into a seafood stew. See, it's not old fish. It's a whole new thing. And the best part is they're eating 3-day-old halibut. That is a CDO.
Okay, so it's like taking old, rotten fish and hiding it in a stew.
Exactly. Banks took the risky mortgage bonds that nobody wanted, the ones full of subprime loans, and bundled them with some decent bonds to create a new product. Add some spices, call it gourmet, and sell it as AAA rated.
Wait, so they're literally hiding the bad loans inside a bigger package?
Yes. Think of it like this. You've got a box of 100 mortgages. 20 of them are subprime garbage, ninja loans. 30 are mediocre. 50 are actually decent. Instead of selling them separately, you blend them all together into one CDO and tell investors, this is AAA safe.
And people bought this?
Not just people, pension funds, insurance companies, foreign governments. Everyone trusted the AAA rating.
But wait, who's giving these AAA ratings? The rating agencies had to know these were garbage, right?
They absolutely knew. The film has this devastating scene where Mark Baum's team goes to meet with an analyst from Standard & Poor's, one of the big 3 rating agencies.
Moody's, S&P, Fitch.
Right. And when they ask her, how can you rate these bonds AAA when they're full of subprime junk? She literally says, if we don't give them the ratings they want, they'll just go to Moody's.
Wait, so it's just corruption? Just straight up fraud?
Here's the insane part. It's legal corruption. The rating agencies are paid by the banks to rate their products. If you're Moody's and you give Goldman Sachs an honest, harsh rating, Goldman will just take their business to S&P next time. It's like if a restaurant paid the health inspector. What do you think's going to happen?
The inspector's going to look the other way.
Exactly. And this is why Michael Burry's discovery was so important. He was the first person to actually read these bonds.
So Burry is just reading mortgage documents at 2 a.m.?
For months. He's going through thousands of pages of prospectuses, the documents that describe what's inside each mortgage bond. And remember, nobody else is doing this. Wall Street is just trusting the AAA ratings and buying billions of dollars worth of these things.
What did he find?
He starts noticing patterns. He sees mortgages with teaser rates, like 2% interest for the first 2 years, then it jumps to 10%. He sees adjustable rate mortgages where the payments will reset in 2007. He sees borrowers with 580 credit scores getting $400,000 loans.
That's terrible credit.
It's awful. And he runs the math. When these teaser rates reset in 2007, millions of people won't be able to afford their payments. They'll default. The bonds will collapse. And here's the key. This isn't insider information. This is all public. It's in the documents. He's just the only one actually reading them.
So what does he do?
He calls up the biggest investment banks on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, and he says, I want to bet against these mortgage bonds. Create a product that will let me profit when they fail.
Can you even do that?
That's what the banks said. They thought he was crazy, so they invented something called a credit default swap, CDS. Think of it like fire insurance, but you're buying insurance on a house you don't even own.
Wait, explain that.
Okay, imagine your neighbor has a house. You think that house is going to burn down. You go to an insurance company and say, sell me fire insurance on that house. You pay them a monthly premium, let's say $1,000 a month. If the house burns down, they pay you the full value, say $500,000.
But you don't own the house.
You don't own the house. That's a credit default swap. Burry is buying insurance on mortgage bonds he doesn't own. When, not if, those bonds fail, the banks have to pay him their full value.
And the banks sold him this?
They loved it. They thought it was free money. From their perspective, Burry is going to pay us millions in premiums every quarter, and will never have to pay out because housing prices never fall. They were so confident, they sold him over $1 billion worth of these swaps.
Oh man.
But here's the painful part for Burry. He has to pay those premiums. Every quarter, millions of dollars of his investors' money is going out the door. The market keeps going up. His investors are furious. They think he's lost his mind. They try to pull their money out.
How does he handle that?
He locks them in. He literally changes the fund rules so they can't withdraw. Some of them sue him. He's bleeding cash, watching everyone else get rich, totally isolated, convinced he's right but unable to prove it. Meanwhile, Baum, Steve Carell's character, hears about what Burry's doing through a Deutsche Bank trader named Jared Venet.
That's Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah, Gosling's basically the narrator of the film. He works for Deutsche Bank, realizes Burry is right, and tries to pitch the same bet to other hedge funds.
So he calls Baum?
Actually, it's a wrong number. Venet's assistant accidentally calls Baum's office. But Baum hears the pitch, and he's intrigued, because Baum hates Wall Street. His brother killed himself, and Baum blames the financial industry.
Heavy.
Yeah, he's got real moral anger. So when Venet shows him the data on these subprime bonds, Baum doesn't just analyze spreadsheets, he goes to see it himself. He takes his team to Florida, which is ground zero for the housing bubble.
The stripper scene.
Right, but it's not just her. They interview mortgage brokers who openly brag about lying on loan applications. One broker tells them, I've got a busboy making $50,000 a year. I wrote down he makes $100,000. Nobody checks. They drive through neighborhoods with half-built houses, for sale signs everywhere, and people living in homes where the owners have already defaulted and abandoned them.
It's obvious the market is collapsing.
It's so obvious. But when Baum gets back to New York, everyone at the banking conference in Vegas is still celebrating. Everyone's still buying. Everyone believes housing prices will keep rising forever.
Herd mentality.
Complete herd mentality. And Baum realizes the system is even more fraudulent than he thought, so he bets against it too.
What about the two young guys?
Charlie Geller and Jamie Shipley. They're running this tiny hedge fund, like $30 million, which in Wall Street terms is pocket change. They're working out of a garage in Boulder, Colorado.
So they're nobodies.
Complete nobodies. But they accidentally discover a prospectus for a subprime mortgage bond at a banking conference, and they realize the same thing Burry and Baum did.
So why don't they just buy the credit default swaps?
Because they're too small. Goldman Sachs won't even take their phone calls. To trade these products, you need what's called an ISDA agreement, International Swaps and Derivatives Association. It's like a license to play in the big leagues.
And they don't have one.
So they track down Ben Rickert, Brad Pitt's character, who's this retired banker living off the grid in Colorado, literally growing his own vegetables because he's so disgusted with finance.
Why did he quit?
He saw through all the corruption. He made his money and got out. But he agrees to help these kids because he's curious if they're actually right.
And they make the bet?
They do. But here's the thing. As the market starts to collapse, these two young guys start celebrating. They're about to make hundreds of millions of dollars, and Ben explodes at them.
Why?
He gives them this speech. Do you realize what you're betting on? Every 1% unemployment goes up. 40,000 people die. Did you know that? He's furious because they're treating it like a game. But real people are going to lose their homes, their jobs, their lives.
That's dark.
It's the moral center of the entire film.
Okay, we've got mortgage bonds, we've got CDOs bundling bad mortgages with good ones. Please tell me that's it.
Oh no! The banks invented something even more insane, synthetic CDOs. And this one? The movie brings in Selena Gomez and an economist at a Las Vegas blackjack table to explain it.
Why does this movie have the best cameos?
Because they knew this stuff was so absurd, only celebrities could make it digestible. Watch this.
What the fuck is a synthetic CDO? Well, here's Dr. Richard Thaler, father of behavioral economics, and Selena Gomez to explain.
Okay, so here's how a synthetic CDO works. Let's say I bet 10 million on a blackjack hand.
10 million because this hand is meant to represent a single mortgage bond. Okay, Selena has a pretty good hand here, showing 18, dealer showing 7. That's a really good hand for Selena. Good odds. In fact, her chances of winning this hand are 87%.
So, my odds are good. I'm on a winning streak. Everybody in this place wants to get in on the action. How could I lose, right?
Now, this is a classic error. In basketball, it's called the hot hand fallacy. A player makes a bunch of shots in a row. People are sure they're going to make the next one. People think whatever's happening now is going to continue to happen into the future. During the real estate boom, markets were going up and up, and people thought they would never go down.
So people who are watching and think that I won't lose will make a side bet. Now this is the first synthetic CDO.
I love Selena Gomez. Bet you 50 million she wins, and I'll give you 3-to-1 odds.
3-to-1 odds? Okay, I'll take that bet.
Now, somebody else is going to want to make a bet on the outcome of their
Bet you
bet.
50 million she wins.
That will lead to synthetic CDO number 2.
Hey, I bet you 200 million that lady in the glasses wins that bet.
She probably will win. So I want a great payoff.
How about 20-to-1?
Deal.
And this will go on and on with more and more synthetic CDOs.
And we can transform an original $10 million investment into billions of dollars.
Wait. So it's a bet on a bet on a bet?
Exactly. Selena plays blackjack. That's like an actual mortgage bond. Someone else at the table bets on whether she'll win. That's a side bet, like a regular CDO. Then a third person bets on the outcome of that side bet. That's a synthetic CDO.
So these synthetic CDOs aren't even backed by real mortgages.
No, they're just bets on whether other bets will pay off. The banks could create infinite synthetic products from a finite number of actual houses. It's pure casino gambling dressed up as finance.
Why would they do that?
Fees. Every single time they created a new synthetic CDO, they collected massive fees. There's no risk for them. They're just the middleman, the casino taking a cut. And get this, these synthetic CDOs also got AAA ratings from the same corrupt rating agencies we talked about.
So they're selling insurance on insurance on insurance, calling it all AAA, and nobody's questioning this.
Nobody, because the whole system believed in two sacred truths. Housing prices never fall, and the big banks are too smart to fail. Which brings us to leverage.
Okay, explain leverage, because I keep hearing that word.
Leverage is when you borrow money to make bigger bets. Here's the simple version. You've got $1 in your pocket. Normal investing means you invest that $1, maybe make 20 cents profit.
20% return.
Right, but these banks thought, why make 20 cents when we could make $6? So they borrowed $32 for every $1 they actually had. This is called 33-to-1 leverage.
Wait, so if they have $1, they're making $33 worth of bets.
Exactly. And if those bets make even 5% profit, they've more than doubled their money. Sounds amazing, right?
But what if they lose?
That's the problem. If the investment loses just 3%, they've lost all their money. And they still owe the other $32. They're bankrupt.
So why would they take that risk?
Because they believed they were too big to fail. They knew that if they collapsed, they'd take the entire economy down with them. So the government would have to bail them out. They could gamble with everyone else's money, keep the profits when they won, and stick taxpayers with the bill when they lost.
That's moral hazard.
That's exactly moral hazard. And in 2008, they were right. When the market collapsed, when Lehman Brothers failed and Bear Stearns was sold for pennies, The government stepped in with a $700 billion bailout. Taxpayer money. Our money.
And these guys, Burry, Baum, the young investors, they saw it coming.
They saw it coming because they did the homework nobody else wanted to do. Burry made over $2.6 billion for his investors. Baum's fund made hundreds of millions. The young guys turned $30 million into $80 million. But they took no joy in it.
Because millions of people lost everything.
Exactly. 9 million people lost their jobs. 6 million lost their homes. And almost nobody on Wall Street went to jail.
So what's the lesson here?
The lesson is this. When everyone, the banks, the media, the government, your neighbors, when everyone believes something can't fail, that's exactly when you should be most afraid. Because it means nobody's asking questions. Nobody's checking the math. And by the time reality hits, it's too late.
And we're seeing the same patterns today, aren't we?
Absolutely. Look at crypto crashes, AI stock valuations, venture capital bubbles. Different products, same psychology. Herd behavior, moral hazard, and people ignoring obvious warning signs.
Hey, if you're still here watching, you're part of a special group. Most people clicked away. But you actually invested your time to learn something. That matters.
It really does. And if this video helped you understand the 2008 crisis, or if you learned something new about how markets work, do us a favor. Drop a comment saying valuable content. It helps us reach more people who want to learn.
And smash that subscribe button if you want more of this. We're simple storytellers, breaking down complex business through the best movies ever made.
Hit the like button. Share this with someone who needs to understand how money really works. And here's the big question. What movie should we analyze next?
We're thinking The Wolf of Wall Street, the rise and fall of Jordan Belfort and the psychology of greed. Or The Founder, how Ray Kroc built McDonald's and the ethics of business takeovers.
Drop your vote in the comments. Wolf of Wall Street or The Founder. Or suggest something else entirely.
Thanks for learning with us. We are simple storytellers.
And remember, don't trust the herd.
Question everything.